Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the HRMS settings. So as we all know, Hinawi software ERP is a huge, large system which contains several modules integrated with each other. It all starts from the settings and then the transactions and activities themselves, and last but not least we have the reports regarding each and every activity and transaction. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the HRMS activities regarding the leaves, more specifically regarding the annual leaves. So first we go to File and then we go to Setup Modules. Notice here that I'm logged in from the admin account since it contains the highest permission possible, and in case, for example, I'm logged in from another account, another user other than the admin account, the settings will not be possible from here. So HRMS settings, and then I go to general settings. This is the window regarding the general settings. First we go to the HRMS activities setup, and as you can see here we have the list of these activities such as the leave, the absence, the loans, additions, deductions. All of these are the exact same activities displayed in the menu itself here. So the menu will read from the settings here. And then we open the leave setup. Notice here that we have several types of leaves, such as the annual leave, the Hajj leave, leave without pay. And by default, we provide users with like specific types of leaves in order for them to have a startup. But in case they want to add more further types of leaves, this is also possible from the general list, because the system is really flexible and it allows users to add as much types of leaves as they want. So we go to leave setup and then we go to annual leave setup from here regarding the test file. So basically the companies contain several types. It might contain more than one type of company since it's a multi-company, and then when we have these specific, all these types, we can choose the specific type we want of the company since they're all integrated, and then have the setup for it. So each and every company will have a specific setup for it. This is the annual leave. This is the setup regarding the annual leave. As you can see here, this is the window. It shows the company name at the top, which is in this case test, and here it shows the type of leave, which is the annual leave. We have the effective date at the top, which displays the date which will start taking action of the leave. For example, if we put it as January 1st, 2019, and then display all the setup from here. At the time of creating the salary sheet, it will read the latest setup that we have inserted and created starting from January 1st, 2019. Any previous setup will not take action since it reads only from the effective date. So we have to be very careful in the effective date criteria from here, since it will take action regarding the date and so on, not any previous date. And we also have select previous setup and copy the previous setup, which saves so much time. Like, it saves so much time regarding the setup in case, for example, we want to use a setup which was used like a month or a year ago or 2 years ago in the company. So instead of starting from everything from the beginning and doing all the steps and wasting time, so instead of doing all that, we can simply copy a previous setup and it will instantly take action as if it has just been created. So it saves so much time. We also have the edit button right here. Edit button is very, very useful in case, for example, we want to add more columns. Of course, there are fixed, by default, there are fixed columns that must be there, must be displayed there, which are the main setup criteria. But other setups, such as, for example, the gender, such as the religion, all these kind of things, they can be either displayed or disabled from here, with a priority, of course. So we start from the department. We can choose which department is this leave going to take action on. Is it like the test department or all departments? It depends on the departments which were created in the company in the first place. And we can add more rows or delete rows as much as we want from here, from the small icon right here. After choosing the department, we can also choose the position of this specific department. And we can also choose the employee type, whether he is or she is an employee or labor or all, and the minimum work period. So right here we can, for example, let's say 2 months, and the mode is like in months, years, or days. So we set up the amount, the number of days, and then the mode which will take action. Afterwards, this will mean that the employee must at least work 2 months until he or she can start taking leaves, or like can start using their balance. So there is a minimum amount of, like, the minimum number of time in which users or employees must wait until they can start taking leaves, specifically the annual leave. Of course, there can be like some exceptions in case there was something urgent, there was, for any reason, there was something that must be taken into consideration. This is also possible from the setup. Anything according to the company policies is possible in the setup regarding the leaves and all types of setup. We also have transfer to next year. We can choose this as yes or no. This is very friendly, user-friendly, and needed, required in many companies. Since, for example, an employee might not use his or her balance of leaves completely. Like they might use, for example, 3 days out of 5 days. So there will be some days left untaken. In this case, it depends. It's up to the company policy in which they can like transfer this to next year, where they can simply take it, like continue taking this balance, what's left from it, in addition to their new balance, or start from zero as if it's all gone. Even if they did not take it, it will start again from the beginning. So it's up to the company policy. We can also choose the percent of the salary. This is all editable, like for example 150%. It depends. It's up to the admin or the HR officer or user. It reads the percent of the salary. For example, it reads according to the company leave type that we have chosen here. So for example, in the annual leave, the percent of the salary is 100 covered. And we also have the salary item from here. Which items are covered from the salary? Is it the entire salary of the employee, or is it only the basic salary? Is it, for example, the transportation, or is it basic salary and any other item? It can all be removed or inserted from here, where we can choose more than one salary item regarding this type of leave. So it will be covered regarding these items. We can also have the setup regarding the in-cash leave. In cash leave, we can choose the items as well in cash leave. Basically, in cash leave is when the employee decides to take like working days instead of their balance. So instead of going on a vacation, on an annual leave, they decide to still be working and take that as extra working, like as cash, instead of the leave itself. So it's like in cash leave instead of the actual annual leave. We also have the working period month, from, and to. This is actually the main setup here. This is exactly the main setup from here. We can choose the period from to and the days allowed within this period, and also of course the mode. So if we want to read it from here, of course you can all edit this. It's not fixed. You can edit it as much as you want and as many times as you want, of course according to the effective date. So basically if we're going to read this from here, it means that from 0 to 6 months there will be 0 days left, and the duration is monthly. So here, if we want to read the next one, it says that from 6 months to 11 months, there will be 24 days allowed as balance yearly. We can change this to have it monthly instead of yearly. And we can also change the days here to have it, for example, as 2.5 or 2.7 instead of yearly. And this right here reads the following, that from 11 months to 99, which means like to infinity, or like to any other future, very future reference here, that from 11 months to 99 monthly there will be 2.2 days balance allowed. And the pay leave here, of course, is yes, we can change this to no. So this decides whether the leave is paid or not. As I mentioned before, we can here display any other column if we want more columns and more description regarding the setup other than the ones that I currently have here. And right here we can see that as a checklist for user-friendly purposes, we have exclude week off days, exclude public holidays, and we also have exclude used annual leave days from leave. So we can choose this as yes or no, so that later on we can, when we create a new type of leave, it will read whether the week off days are included or excluded, whether the public holidays are included or excluded. And of course you're wondering, how might the system know whether the week off days are Friday or Friday and Saturday, or what are the public holidays? Of course, all of this contain setup regarding the policies for the company in the system, so the user can simply and easily go to the settings, which I will show you in a few minutes now, in order for us to choose the public holidays, in order for us to choose what are the week off days for the company, and all these kind of important things. We also have a feature here, a very important feature, which is the set default. Set default is when the user prefers to see what is the setup which currently is used, or like which currently is provided from us, from the company, from our company. What is the default which we recommend in case users want to use that? Of course, the default which have we created is regarding UAE, United Arab Emirates. So in case a company exists in the United Arab Emirates, they might use the default which we have already done for them earlier. But in case they're using it in a different country, such as like, for example, Jordan or any other country, they can like simply edit it as much as they want, and as simple as it is. So we have either here save and close or close. From here is the holiday setup, which I was talking about now. We can choose the week off days from here, whether we want to consider Friday or Saturday only, or any of them. And we also have the public holidays. We can choose the type, from date, to date, all these things, and of course a description. Regarding the company name test, which we have selected from here. So if we select, for example, this company name, we have a different setup for it. So this is in short regarding the leave, more specifically the annual leave setup. It's regarding the annual leave in addition to all these types of leave. So we use exactly and follow exactly the same method when we want to set up any other new type of leave. And if we want to see this in action, we go to HRMS activities, and then we go to leaves, and then we go to create leave, and from here we choose the employee name, and we can select annual leave. And here, notice that it reads very, very accurately from the settings, which shows us exactly what we need to do. For example, this employee seems like a new employee. The service period is 0 years. And in the settings, we choose that annual leave applies for employees who have worked for a specific period of time, right? So it shows us that the leave is not allowed. And the balance is 0. After, whether, like, for example, any other employee is used here with any balance other than 0, we can create the leave. We can see the leave calculation from here, how the leave has been calculated, how many days have been used, and how many deduction days have been taken. For example, if the employee has took like an absence before, whether it's with an excuse or without an excuse, and then we choose that the deduction type for this absence is to deduct it from leaves. It's possible, and it shows from here, the absence deduction. And here we have the leave setup, how many days are allowed per month. So right now, this employee has 0 per month allowed, right? Because 14 days only he has been working. We have also the calculate leave balance in case we want to see future balance. How is it going to be calculated? We have the staff in charge, and we have the unpaid salaries according to the salary sheet, of course. And we also have, from the leave window of creating, we have the payment types. So we can either choose pay through salary sheet, pay now, or only updating in the reports. So this will deduct the amount. This is pay now, and this is updating the ledger in case no amount will be deducted, just the information itself in the report. It will show from here. So this is, in general, the setup regarding the leave. And everything, all these setup, all the activities, all the transactions that we have been talking about now will definitely have reports in the HRMS reports, where we can see full information, everything regarding the leaves, annual leaves, all types, all transactions, everything will read from here, from the HRMS reports. Thank you.